Let's hear from INEC National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, who's joining us live from Kebbi State. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Well, the question that many people are asking and wondering about is whether INEC will use tomorrow's supplementary elections to redeem her image. How prepared is INEC to do just that on every level, including, of course, the IREV?
Well, I'm in a position to tell you that for the supplementary elections that will take place tomorrow, that we are prepared for the supplementary elections. As you are aware, we have two governorship supplementary elections, one in Adamawa State and one in Kebbi State. We also have 5 senatorial district supplementary elections in Sokoto State, in Kebbi State, and in Zamfara State. We also have 31 federal constituency elections and 59 state constituency elections scattered across all the states of the Federation. In terms of the preparations, this commission is prepared for the supplementary elections. The chairman has deployed 3 national commissioners to Kebbi State to superintend the election and give support to the resident electoral commissioner for Kebbi State. 2 national commissioners have also been deployed to Adamawa State. One has been deployed to Sokoto State, and one has been deployed to Rivers State to go and give support. All the sensitive materials and the beavers for the conduct of this election have all moved to the various local government areas and to the various registration areas preparatory to they are being deployed to the affected polling units tomorrow. For this election, in some of the constituencies, we are going to use our staff who will serve as supervisory presiding officers, who will serve as constituency supervisors, and who will also act as presiding officers in some of these cases. For the places where we have bigger elections, we have deployed some of our staff from the states that are contiguous to Adamawa, to Kebbi, and also to Sokoto State. So in terms of preparation, we are ready for this election, and all the things we need to put in place have been put in place. We have had robust engagement with the political parties. We've had robust engagement with the various security agencies, and they understand the sensitivity surrounding these supplementary elections, and they are ready to do their best to make sure that we have a conclusion to some of these elections tomorrow.
Festus, it's good to see you smiling when Ungozi started by asking you the question. And I said to myself, this is Festus smiling. It looks as if everything is all done and dusted. But again, to some, it sounds more like deja vu. INEC spoke the same way you spoke earlier, and we experienced some glitches. How sure are we that this will be over and done with by tomorrow?
There will be a conclusion to these elections tomorrow. We cannot have a supplementary election after a supplementary election. So this commission is determined to conclude these elections tomorrow. There's a possibility that after the election petition tribunals are done with their work, there may be some court-ordered rerun elections, but those ones are completely different from what is going to happen tomorrow. Now, I want to assure you that in terms of the beavers, in terms of voter accreditation and authentication, Nigerians never had any issue with voter accreditation and authentication, and that will also be done tomorrow. We have charged the beavers, we have reconfigured the beavers, and the beavers will be on display tomorrow for purposes of voter accreditation and authentication. We're also going to upload the polling unit level results into our INEC result viewing portal. There is no way we will not do that tomorrow. So in terms of professionalism, in terms of ethical conduct, we have trained our staff. And these are our staff who are used to conducting elections, who have conducted previous elections, and we have deployed them to make sure that the votes of the people will be the only determinant on who gets elected and who does not get elected. So we are confident with our preparations, and we are confident that things will go well tomorrow. The security agencies have assured us that they are ready to provide a good environment for the electorates to go and exercise their democratic franchise. And in some of the flashpoints, we have identified them, and the security agencies have taken proactive measures to make sure that nothing untoward happens in these places. And in places where we have bigger elections, the security agencies have also deployed some of their personnel from the states adjoining the state where we have these elections to come and provide security cover for both the electorates, for election duty staff, and to political parties. So we are confident with our processes, and we are confident that we are going to have a good election tomorrow.
Interesting to note, Mr. Okoye, that INEC will be relying on INEC staff to oversee the supplementary elections tomorrow. Exactly why are you not engaging the services of ad hoc staff? And are there lessons from the presidential election, the governorship elections that you may have learned from? What are those, and how are you going to ensure there are no glitches tomorrow?
Well, relating to your first question, let me give you an example of why we have to use our own staff. In the governorship election, in the governorship supplementary election for Kebbi State, we are going to have supplementary election in Alero local government. And the total number of polling units affected by the supplementary election is just 2 polling units. In Arewa, we have 2 polling units affected. In Arugungu, we have 6 polling units affected. So there is no reason why we should go and begin to engage ad hoc staff when in each local government we have between 15 to 20 staff. So we can just ask 2 of our staff to go and superintend the election in just 2 polling units. So that's why we are using the bulk of our staff, because in some of these places, the places where we have supplementary elections are just disparate, and we can use the bulk of our staff for that purpose.
Unfortunately, NEPA looks like it just struck where you are, but thankfully the light is back. And I also asked if there are lessons learned from the conduct of the presidential and governorship elections that you may want a good departure from as you go to the polls again tomorrow.
Well, as a commission, we do both internal and external review after every general election. The commission has not done any internal or external review because we are still within the election cycle. We are still within the election period. But what we want to assure Nigerians is that tomorrow, in all the polling units, there will be early deployment of staff. Our election duty staff will be waiting for the voters, and not the voters waiting for the staff. We want to also assure that we are going to deploy our best hands as technical support staff so that the beavers will function optimally. And we're also going to make sure that we engage in reverse logistics in such a way that we can conclude the elections speedily and then announce the results of the elections speedily. But after we are through with all these elections, we will engage in both internal and external review that will involve the main critical stakeholders in the electoral process for us to evaluate the elections, learn the valuable lessons, make the necessary amendments, and also see whether we have to also change certain things administratively and certain things within the realm of the legal framework. But we are yet to do that particular review, and I'm sure that review will come immediately after we are done with the supplementary elections.
Very quickly, before I let you go, let's come to your area, and it has to do with information and sensitization. And it's always a problem when you have such elections taking place. The people are disenchanted. How much of information and sensitization do you think has gone down to ensure that on the day we'll get to see a large turnout of voters?
Well, we are expectant. We are confident that voters will turn up during this supplementary election. Now, the main remit of the Independent National Electoral Commission is to make sure that we avail the voters with our election processes and our election procedures, and also for them to understand the dynamics of the electoral process. But in the main, it is the responsibility of the political parties to make sure that they get out the votes, to get out their supporters and those who believe in them to come out on election day and vote. Now, the main issues in some of these elections, if you look at the reason why we have supplementary election in some of these places, it arose as a result of overvoting, and it is not the making of the commission that there has been overvoting in the electoral process. It arose out of issues around violence and also issues around disruption of the voting process. We have counsel the political parties on the need for them to maintain some level of civility as we go into this election tomorrow, so that we don't create an atmosphere of fear and anxiety that will scare the voters away from the polling units. And I hope that they have imbibed that particular tradition and some of the sensitization we have done. And the security agencies will also assure the voters that they can come out and nothing untoward will happen to them. So we are positive. We are expectant that things will go well tomorrow, and that we are going to have a conclusion to the governorship, senatorial, federal constituency and state assembly election in some of these states of the federation.
In 1 minute, very quickly, I mean, there were allegations that INEC staff colluded, to tamper with the process during the presidential and governorship elections. Has INEC looked into that? Any prosecution so far? What should we be expecting as far as that's concerned?
Well, up to this moment, I'm not aware that any INEC staff tampered with the process. As you know, for the presidential election or for the general election, we deployed over 1.2 million ad hoc staff. And out of this 1.2 million ad hoc staff, the bulk, over 80%, are students of federal tertiary institutions and core members doing their national service, and also professors and lecturers from different institutions in the country. The total number of permanent staff of the commission is slightly over 15,000. So it is Nigerians that really conduct this election. But at the conclusion of all these elections, we are going to liaise with the various security agencies to know the number of arrests that have been made, to know the type of investigation that has been conducted. And then it is the responsibility of the commission to do the prosecution. And I want to assure you, assure Nigerians, that any person who engaged in electoral infraction and whose file is forwarded to the Independent National Electoral Commission and the prima facie case has been made out against such an individual, we will definitely prosecute such an individual.
All right, Mr. Festus Okoye, National Commissioner of Voter Education, Publicity, INEC. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight, and we wish you a very good outing tomorrow.